a request for those of you who live in New York. So sorry. I know a lot of people say, hey, we need to stop protesting. This is a time when you protest. Those of you in New York, get out in front of Pace University, get a press release, get a podium, make this big. We've already got 5 or 6 people up and off this app, made them lose their jobs. And again, I have two messages. One, I'm going to talk about consequences right now, and then jealousy, because that's the lowest common denominator that's feeding these scumbags. But those of you in New York, show up in front of Pace University. Make this make news. Come up with a hashtag. In real life, I am confronting Africans in real life, white people, everyone. When people say something I don't like, I speak up about it. When people say something to me, white people, about Africans versus Black Americans, I make it very clear. I'm not an African. I'm a Black American with a different lived experience, a different ethnicity, a different culture, a different lineage. Let the world know that we are not them. Every other ethnicity gets called, if they commit a crime, they say a Japanese American, a Chinese American, a Vietnamese. We are no longer going to be held accountable for their fuckery, pushing people off of platforms, stabbing people, rubbing feces in their face, shit that we've never done. And now all of a sudden, we're responsible for it. They're not going to get to thrive while disparaging us. Get out there and let Pace University and the rest of the world know that Nigerians are a freaking problem, just like they are all over the world. It's our time to highlight this. My next point is jealousy. Some people will say, you know what? That's just too simple of a rationale for why they're acting like this. I think it was Tariq or Marcel just read a tweet where he was talking about black men. They keep sneak attacking us. We're like, when did black men and women stop loving each other? We are the
Right.
R&B kings and queens. Dudes used to send me mixtapes and poetry. Like, when did our black men stop loving us? It's them. They got to this country and they're angry because, like him, he's mad because he doesn't have black American swag.
Hmm.
And black American women aren't running him down. You ain't never heard nobody say, let me get one of them sexy Nigerians. Where's the bomb ass Somalis? So they're starting this shit, black women this, black women that. Meanwhile, I'm not even going to get into what their women are like. Then their women are on here, black men ain't this, black men aren't this. And you look at the statistics in their countries and in their communities here in the United States: domestic violence, out of the roof; misogyny, out of the roof; rape, out of the roof; genital mutilation, out of the roof; fatherless homes. Nigerians have the highest rate of paternity fraud. Those Negroes don't even know if those kids are theirs. The Dominicans, they call them the fatherless country. But then they want to come here and disparage our black men, disparage our black women. Look at the wholeness in music. I started tracing this years ago. Lil Kim and all those guys, they're not us. All those chicks doing that nasty, nasty, nasty stuff never has been us. That's where all this shit is coming from. So the last thing I'm going to say is it's jealousy. They come here. Statistically, it's shown that immigrants of all ethnicities have a very hard time assimilating into a new culture. It's hard to give up who you are, right? But imagine coming here and being in the shadow of the great black Americans. So they're sitting over there in the cut, jealous, watching us, and then they want to be us, and they don't want to work hard like they claim they do. So they just decided one day, we're just going to start saying we're black Americans. We
Yep.
want instant, yeah, we want instant success and prosperity. So they're capitalizing on all of our accomplishments, while at the same time gaslighting us like white people, saying we have no accomplishments or culture. They don't want to put in hard work. They don't want to come here and build a name for themselves as Nigerians or whomever. They don't want to do that. So they would rather tell us we're not shit so they can get over on us. I'm going to close with that. But they are coming from countries with no successes to brag about, not a damn thing, not even above ground plumbing. And then they want to come here and talk shit. And then this fool comes in this room and can't humble himself. So again, I'm going to close with this. Make sure you see him in New York. Let him and his people know there's consequences to this.
Let me build on what the sister brought up. She brought up a very good point. How a lot of their culture, the dynamic between the men and women is very janky, and then what happens is they bring that degenerate culture here, and then they start blaming us and tying us in with their degenerate behavior. Y'all remember a few years ago when they had that "You OK sis" stuff, where these white feminists got with these tether feminists to denigrate black men and pretend that it was foundational black American men street harassing these Caribbean and African women in New York. They were running around talking about how they can't walk the streets because the black men are harassing them. All of these fraudulent tether women who were clicked in with the Democrats and these white feminist groups, including Tarana Burke. Tarana Burke was one of them. And that made me raise my flag, because when she was talking about how somebody was street harassing her, I said, hell no, ain't no foundational black American man harassing no damn Tarana Burke or anybody else who looked like her. So I knew right then that they were talking about those men from their communities, and they try to put their dirt and their garbage on us. And that's when I said, hell no. We have to delineate. We have to let people know you're talking about dudes from your culture. Don't put that thirsty ass nonsense on us. I was offended just by you implying that foundational black Americans were trying to holler at that.
Sister Jessie, and then Brother Sonny.
Thank you. Katie, I know you're very passionate about delineating, and I agree with you. Off-code people are off-code. Nobody's saying to be on code with an off-code person. And I think Tariq was just talking about how we've got these visual cues, like with white supremacists, the OK sign is not the OK sign no more.
Right.
Divestment wigs might be something, that hairline might be something. They start talking crazy. Like Kamala probably has always talked crazy. But the internet wasn't necessarily what it was back then, where we could share the information in real time, where we could see her off code behavior and then act before she got to where she is now. So I just think that